Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watcher of Realms video. So we have some exciting stuff. We just got the patch notes and we already know that the Malric gems were coming. This is in time for anniversary. So all the stocking up that people have been doing in terms of potions, that's gonna pay off. I didn't stock up as much. I stopped buying from the shop ever since I decided that I need to save up for a Kigiri banner. Because on the Wukong banner, we did terribly, so we really have to get quite a few copies of Kigiri to make it count. Anyways, I digress. There's a very big update that's coming other than the gems, and that has to do with the summoning system in this game. So people have been complaining for the longest time that the pool is too diluted. I just did a check again. We have 67 different units in the game right now. And yeah, so they did another change this time. There's going to be some rate up adjustments. It's going to be very similar to some other gacha games where you basically, the more off-banner units you hit, the more likely you are to hit the banner unit on your next legendary. So it's not guaranteed still, it's just a rate up. We will take a look at the math in a short while to see how much of a rate up it is. It's a step in the right direction for sure, but it's not as optimal as, I would like it to be, and I will also talk about some suggestions I have later on. So basically, from the normal summons, from rares, you get a 10x multiplier every time you miss the banner unit. So if let's say you're getting you're summoning on Beatrix and Beelzebub, if you don't get them on your first legendary, the next one will be like a 200x rate up, just for example. And if you don't hit it again, that's going to be a 2000x rate up. Sounds ridiculous, but once you see the math, you'll get where I'm coming at. So big change, big change, but you do have some caveats. So for Ancients, it's only on a 2x multiplier, and you will see how that affects, things later on. And then we also have this little note here. This adjustment only affects special summoning pools, which means it's not gonna do anything on your normal 2x rate ups because there's no banner units to rate up. And it also says that the mechanics for exclusive and other summoning pools remain unchanged. So other summoning pools, I'm thinking 1+1s, nascent banner, but exclusive summoning sounds like limited units, which is honestly the biggest pain point that most people had. Like in my example, I had 17 legendaries and only 2 Wukongs. This is saying that for limiteds, there's no change at all. Nothing's gonna change. And you do have to bear in mind of the fact that this rate up is only on the banner units, but you don't get to choose which banner unit. So example, I could hit Beatrix, which is not the ideal unit here, and then I will never have that guaranteed banner unit PD again, because it only happens once. So those are the first few initial thoughts on how this could go wrong, but it is the step in the right direction. So let's bring out some math now. So if you take a look at this spreadsheet here, we have 67 units in total. I just did the count. And assuming that we have 2 banner units, this is what the rate up looks like. So you're going to have 20x chance of getting the banner units. And then the remaining units, it will basically just be you minusing out the banner units, and that's going to give you a total chance of 105, whereas the 2 banner units have that rate up. So we can use this math because in the game itself, they have stated it quite clearly after people started giving feedback that, where was it? There is a note somewhere that says that distribution is equal, but I'm not sure where it went to. But basically, there was a point in time where they made it quite clear that, the distributions are equal, and that's why we can count counted that way. But it looks like that text is gone for some reason. Anyways, we digress. So what's gonna happen now when we start mathing it up is that on your default settings, you're gonna get a 38% rate up here for banner units. And since there are two banner units, then you're gonna get 19% each, and then off banner is gonna be 62%, which is what people have been complaining about the longest time, which is that 20x is not enough. So now with this system, on your second PD, this rate up goes up by 10 times. So that's going to be a 400 distribution, and it's going to bring your banner rates up to 86% and 43% on each unit. And then if you're still really super unlucky, then it's going to get that 10x again. And your banner rate should be 98% at this point, and I honestly don't want to calculate anymore because that's going to give you like 99 point something percent, but you guys get the idea. I think the second PD, there is a huge jump in terms of benefits there. And then we move off to the Ancients. I think for Ancients, lots are a lot more important just for the fact that, the lots are the game-breaking units. The non-lots, they do break the game sometimes, like Adeya, but not as much as the, lots actually do. So I did a count. We have 20 lots and unnameable units altogether, and we are including Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3 lots, the only Gen 3 lot being Nestia at the moment. So assuming we have one banner unit, with this rate up, you're gonna see 20%, 20 chance, and then 19 for the rest. It's quite an even distribution at the moment, 51 and 49%. So you're basically going to get a 51% rate up, 68%, and then 81%. So on the Ancients, it's not that spectacular, but if we change things up a bit, then it becomes a lot better. So this is an instance where we had that Imrat Valderon banner. It is a very good banner to summon on. War Guides did his calculation there as well, and you can see right here, it's gonna be quite equal to what we see on the rare banners here, where you get quite a good rate up from the first to second one. Even the first one, there's a drastic improvement once there are two banner units. So this is the math, just for everyone to digest, but at the end of the day, it is a gacha game. RNG can happen, but this is what the rate ups will look like after this. I didn't do the calculations for the ancient non-lots because I thought those weren't that relevant because there is no PD counter for it. But if we want to do it, we can pump in the numbers just to take a look. But I need to do some quick math here. So if we popped over to gallery, basically every legendary unit here is going to be in there. So we have, how many here? 3 plus 6, 9. 9 plus 4, 13. 13, 17, 17, 21, 22. So we're 22 units in total. Sorry, I need to deduct Lady Alex, so that's 21. I didn't count in it. And then who else do we have here that we can't count? Okay. So it's pretty close. 21 units. I believe I counted everyone. I didn't count the Ajax and Imrat pairing. So it's not that far off in terms of the rate ups. I think it's fairly equal in terms of the value that you get here. Just switch this to 21. Yeah, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So I think this can be used pretty interchangeably. I won't upload this shit anywhere because I think there's not much for you to play around with. But I think it's quite clear that it is a drastic improvement on rares, especially on the second PD. And then for lots, ancient lots, I think on this, if you have two banner lots, then it's quite close to what we have on the rares. So that's all the math. Now we want to talk about some changes that I would like to see. So right here, I've made the suggestion. I'll pin it in the comments below again so that you guys can hop on and give a thumbs up so that the devs can actually have a look. So I'm just gonna read it out so that it's clear. So this new rate up adjustments all sounds really great. I like it. but I have two questions on how effective it will be, depending on what the answers to these questions are. So first of all, is it retroactive, or will these adjustments only take place after the patch? For rares, it's very easy for us to accumulate up to 2 or 3 PD. Just 1 or 2 months you can get there if you play all the events, if you farm, if you do everything right, you will get there. But on an ancient banner, that's a very different story because it takes you so long to get ancients. Although the rates for getting ancients have improved tremendously, you can get more than 10 ancients per week. All in all, it's going to give you about a ballpark of 60 to 70 per month, which, if you do the math, it's going to take you 6 months to get a PD twice. So if this is not going to be retroactive, it is going to be a big miss because people have been complaining about this rate ups for the longest times, which means that they've been suffering from the bad rates. So I think if they wanted to implement this to make the community happier, I think one quick thing that they can do is to make it retroactive. And the next one is more long term. This is probably more important. Do these rate ups carry forward? So if let's say I miss the banner units twice today in this week's banner, which is Beelzebub and Beatrix, if next week there is a Hex and Silas banner, for example, will I instantaneously get the third PD rate up, or will I reset back to the first PD? I think that's very important, especially on the ancient banners, because it will mean that I have to save up for like 400 to 600 ancients just to make sure that, you know, these improvements actually work out in my favor, which is not ideal, but it could happen. But here's to hoping that that's not the case. And there are also a lot of suggestions. I think Destin posted in his video saying that, you know, these rate ups should actually allow us to actually select the units that we want on there. So I think those are good suggestions as well, because we often have unit pairings where this week is Beelzebub, Beatrix. One is obviously favored more than the other. We also had Eloine, Magnus, that sort of thing. So you guys get the idea that it's not always optimal. So if we can choose the rate up, that'll be better. But I think the long-term game is really making sure that these rate ups carry forward. So yeah, that's pretty much it for, you know, this whole banner rate up discussion. I've gone on long enough. If we head back to the game here, there's lots of exciting things coming other than the Malric gems. There's a lot of bug fixes. I think the biggest one is the arena switching thing, which I honestly haven't had a concern with, but it seems like it's a big issue for a lot of people. And then it's just some bug fixes, and then there's a buff to Twin Fin. Don't think that sounds huge, it's just more rage regen from what I see. And then yeah, introduction of the Malric gems. There's also more stages to, you know, Tower of Deception. It seems like 16 to 20 has new stages, and then all original stages get shifted forward. So we will have 35 levels now. And then there's also this big fix where, you know, if the modifiers, for example, say no legendaries, and then you do an auto right now, it's still going to let you pass that stage. But now auto fight will be disabled once they see that the challenge modifiers do not match. And then, yeah, gear gem and enhancement. This just all comes with the Malric gems. And then another big quality of life here is the gear plans preset groups. I heard that it's quite buggy on Forerunner, so I hope that they fix it before it arrives to us. And then Live Arena, they adjusted the timing. It was based on some feedback where, you know, people were not being able to play the game at the you know, hour that made sense to them. There's also a longer break this time around, and there's a save feature which is very much needed, because who the hell wants to gear up, you know, 21 different heroes. So this is nice. And then some extra achievements. I think this gives 2 ancients, and then this one gives like 2 mythic artifact essence. And then legendary skill dust. People have been complaining about this. I haven't had that issue, but nice that they're hearing out the community. And then higher rarity rewards are guaranteed when opening your first chest of each level in Abyss 1. I'm not sure what this means. Does it mean that every time we open the chest, the first chest is guaranteed to have better rewards? Or is it just the first chest in your lifetime of, tackling Abyss? And other than that, Odyssey adjustments, you can move more heroes now from the backup storage. Some optimizations. This one is Yaki, Micah, Silent, Callista added to the normal pool. And then there's just some extra stuff, money card for diamonds and value cards, which coincides with anniversary. So I'm guessing there's going to be some deals going on. So I think the biggest one is honestly Malric Gems, the gear plan grouping, and as well as this rate up changes. So let me know down in the comments what you're most excited about. It is an exciting time. Anniversary is coming. We have this rate up changes. Malric Gems is arriving. We're going to be doing a whole ton of farming and also probably guides on how to clear certain Malric stages, because those stages cannot be redone. You can't do autos on it. It seems like every time you enter, it's going to be like there and then. You can't restart. Exiting midway will, count that as your progress. So it looks like it's crucial to know what's going on before you actually attempt this trials. And there's also a limit to how many stones you can keep. But that's pretty much it for the video. Let me know down in the comments what you're most excited about. And once again, we have that rate up calculation here. I'll bring it up again. And given the fact that we're going to get those 3 additions, this is what the new rate ups is going to look like. Doesn't change much, but it still looks like there's going to be some pretty amazing rates, especially at the second PD. If we just add the 2 other units that Fastidious linked, then yeah, you see the rates don't really change that much still. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, leave any comments if you have debates and whatnot. And please go ahead to Discord and leave a thumbs up on the in-game suggestion, because it will really be nice if we get support on that and get the devs to clarify that and hopefully implement it in the way that we suggested. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. See you in the next one.